Hello everybody, thank you for taking the time to watch my update video for the fall here of 2020. Kind of a crazy spring and summer we had. And those of you who've been following along the Swigert family journey over the last few years, 2019 was kind of a rough year. And I remember at New Year's, thinking, man, I'm glad 2019's done and 2020 can't get worse, right? And it's been a crazy time. So I pray that you are doing well, that you're safe and healthy, and thank you for your encouragement and your prayers and the support that you share with me and my family. I pray that this report, both the video and what you would read, is a blessing to you. And so thank you very, very much. This spring and summer, obviously with COVID hitting, and most churches and student ministries had to completely reinvent how they do ministry. And so it was really a kind of a challenging time, but a gift for me and for the others on staff with Lead 222, that we got to just walk with so many student ministry leaders from all over the country as they tried to figure out, what does ministry look like in pandemic and in quarantine. And what was really cool is, obviously it was hard and there were challenges, but one of the questions that I asked a lot, and I can't even remember, probably between 12 and 15, probably different Zoom calls with groups of youth pastors from different parts of the country. And one of the things that I kept asking was, what is good that you have created in this time, and something that needs to remain after quarantine is done? And one of the best ideas that I heard was starting to track attendance closer, and not tracking necessarily who's there, but who's not there. And after learning how to do Zoom small groups and things like that, to be able to send out an invitation at the end of every Wednesday night or Sunday night, whatever night they do student ministry, and say, hey, we missed you tonight. If you're available, here's a link to a Zoom meeting at 9 o'clock or whatever time. And we would love to just have you hop on for a half hour and just let us connect. And so it's kind of interesting. It'll be, as groups are starting to come back and meet together more and more, maybe there have been some mechanisms that have been created that will keep kids from falling through the cracks. And so just some really cool things like that. So just a gift to be able to walk alongside all of these leaders and share whatever wisdom the Lord happens to give in that moment. One of the most challenging things about 2020 was the cancellation of all of our mission trips. And as you know, those are a big part of my heart, and obviously a big part of my job with Lead. And so we obviously we're just following the Lord and reality through that. But we were able to pivot a little bit and do something really cool. So one of the Zoom calls, we kind of threw out the idea of, what if the people, and this was some of our bigger church youth pastors at churches that are 1,000 people or more. And I just threw out the idea of, what if this group of people collaborated together on something that we gave away to our community, something that they could do in place of their mission trip or camp in the summer. And we came up with the idea of something called Lead Impact. And it was just a really cool collaboration between all these youth pastors. And we put together video messages, worship, video worship, and then gave them some coaching on how to set up their service projects and ministry things, or some ideas on different things that they could do for campy type experiences. And so a number of youth pastors, again, from different parts of the country, signed up and did Lead Impact this summer. So it was really cool. Obviously getting to still facilitate influence and ministry in some layer, not quite as deep and personal as the mission trips when we're together in person, but still ministry was happening. But then at the same point, watching this group of youth pastors collaborate on something, and something that actually one of the guys from Phoenix didn't even, like, he already had his summer plan done, but he wanted to be on the team to collaborate. And just so, like, kingdom minded, and humility was so evident in that. It was really great. So just celebrating Lead Impact and all the things that God did there. A couple weeks ago in August, we did what we called our National Lead Coaches Conference. We were going to be meeting in person at Arrowhead Bible Camp in Wisconsin, and unfortunately, with travel and restrictions and all of that, we weren't able to bring everybody from our whole community together there. So we did it virtually. And but what was cool is there were 13 of us from this area, and one good friend, youth pastor from South Carolina, who still came up, and we still spent that time at camp, having some of that be with time. But our conference was great. Over 80 student ministry leaders from around the country joined us on that Zoom call. And I actually linked, in the email here, I linked my video from that, the teaching that I did for the NLCC. And so would love for you to watch that. It was on Authentic Community, but it was awesome. And again, just getting to play a small part in the community that God has created with student ministry leaders from around the country is really, really cool. Another link that I put in the email is I had the chance to preach at New Life Church in July, and it was a blessing. It was a message that was near and dear to my heart, something that I had written after my dad passed away, and it titled "Faith When It Doesn't Make Sense." And I believe that message and that theme and that question is more universally needed and applicable now. Even it was very personal to me a year and a half ago, and now with where our world is at, it seems that that's a big deal. So if you have some time and wanted to watch that, it's linked in there as well. Shout out and thank you to everyone who came and participated in my golf tournament and the whole sponsors. Thank you very much for that. It was such a fun day, and obviously raised some good funds for a great cause. And so thank you for that. As we shift ahead to the fall here, I'm excited about the things and the opportunities for influence that I'm going to have within Lead 222. This year I've accepted the role of the Director of Lead Missions. So I was a key player in the missions realm, and now I'm overseeing all of our mission trips that we'll be doing next summer. And so I'm very excited about that. And the leaders of the different trips are friends of mine and people that I've been investing in and just walking alongside for a number of years, and so get to go even deeper with them. But also try to just keep taking our systems next level and making it more and more and more about the gospel, about the kingdom, and watch what God does. Something that's kind of cool, just a couple side notes personally. Someday people will say, hey, what did you do during the quarantine of 2020? And two things that happened for me really cool is, number one, I was able to finish my master's degree, something that I started in 2007. It was all embedded in what I was doing at New Life Church. And so there's, as I moved on from there, some of that and those systems moved away, and I was able to work with the school, and essentially all I needed to do was 2 5-week discussion series where I essentially taught the final 2 courses that I needed to teach. So I had youth pastors, again, from different parts of the country come on Zoom, and we had a wonderful time doing that. So very blessed that I can check that box, and I have my Master's of Ministry now. And then the other was I started a tennis academy, the SOAR Tennis Academy. And we did tennis drills and lessons for 12 weeks this summer. And I had some former and maybe a future player working for me. And we had kids, coming, and many of them came couple times a week, and it was really cool just getting to use the game of tennis to build relationships and just to try to invest in these young kids. So that was really cool. Those of you who are on my donor support team, my plan is over the next couple months to begin reaching out to you personally, just giving you a call, updating you on some things, but just appreciating you. So thank you very much. And then finally, just our family. Just be praying for us. it's a unique season. Caitlin is a senior this year, and that there's some challenges with that, as she's really kind of taking the final steps in preparation for life on her own. And Christina and I and Caleb and Lucy are getting used to the thought of this is our last time around the mountain with her. So yeah, we're excited about all that, but just praying that God just blesses and draws Caitlin very close to himself. And the same with Caleb and Lucy. That our greatest prayer is, as they're senior freshmen in fifth grade, that that this year, 2020, 2021, that they draw closer to Jesus than they ever have before. And that God would give Christina and I favor as we disciple them to that end. Sometimes that's a challenge, because I can be, I won't say anything about Christina, of course, but I can be a knucklehead. I can be selfish. I can be sinful. And I so don't want to get in the way of the work that God is going to do in the lives of my kids. So again, thank you for your prayers. That was a good way to end it. Thank you for your prayers and for watching this video. God bless.